We're talking to financial advisor Adam Super about our money mistakes.
Sinking money into a B movie that was never produced.
Hi, I'm Adam Super.
The earnings are the only thing that are really a taxable issue here.
We've enlisted financial consultant Adam Super.
Do I value this more than I value the time with my child?
When we first meet with a client, one of the first things we do is to really understand who they are as a person. And it's funny because people will bring in their statements, they'll want to go through what they have, what they own, and I've made it a regular process to say, please hold on to that. We'd like to get to know you before we get to know your assets, your accounts.
That's a conversation we have really from the start. What's this money mean to you, and what are your goals with the money? Bottom line, we really want to help people have a lifetime of security through that lifetime of income. I mean, that's a lot of focus of what we do is people have worked years and years to create this significant amount of assets, and how do we convert that? How do we transition then into retirement income? When I think about what I do here at Fourth Dimension, the one word that comes to mind is serve. It's service first, and that's what I've always been taught, and it comes easy here at Fourth Dimension. Just because Adam is a published author, featured speaker, writing in multiple financial publications, that we're losing the personal touch. We are committed to serving, personally advising each and every one of the families we serve.
I grew up in a family that restored cars. So when I came of age and it was time for me to drive, my dad agreed to restore a car with me. So we went out and we found the car. And I was checking the car out and I thought this was the one. And my dad did something really interesting. He asked the guy, he said, "Hey, can you roll the windows down?" And the guy looked at us. He said, "There's no glass." And I thought back to that. It was a cool night. There was no reason for the windows to be down. And my dad knew the right questions to ask. Why? Because he had been there before. He had the experience that I didn't have. What we do for our clients is what my dad did for me. He taught me the right questions to ask before making financial decisions. We use a very unique process. We call it the 4-dimension review process. There are 4 literal components to this process. One is we do a forward-looking review of your tax return to find out where are those opportunities where there's money falling through the cracks year after year after year. The second component of that 4-dimension review process is an analysis of your income sources, your current income sources, those that you can expect during retirement, and how they should work together to create a guaranteed income that you cannot outlive. Third, we look at the risk that you're taking. We do a complete risk evaluation and look at the fees that you're paying. There's some new legislation that's coming out that's going to really shed some light on the fees that people are paying in their 401k plans, but most people have no idea the depth of the fees that they're paying inside their mutual funds, inside their 401k plans, and we help to bring that to light. And finally, we do a complete look at your estate or your legacy. In other words, if we can arrive at the point where you have enough to retire on, maybe you have more than enough. How do you want to treat those assets? Do you want to pass on a legacy to your children, grandchildren, church, charity? How do you do that and integrate it within your plans from a tax-efficient perspective and a risk perspective that you're real comfortable with? There is no one piece that can create a plan for someone. Or what I mean by that is there are accumulation specialists, there's brokers and salespeople, financial salespeople that will help you accumulate assets. But what happens is you arrive at this point, and most of our clients are near or at retirement, so they're in a transition. They bring in all of their stuff and they want to talk about their pension plan, their Social Security, all their investment statements, their life insurance. They may own annuities. They're looking at all of these things at once, and it's absolutely overwhelming. But what's interesting about it is that's how I'm wired. I love looking at all of those different components and really spending some time with those different pieces of the puzzle and bringing them together, literally using pictures and using a context that the client can understand. And I find that it is so helpful. We can all draw that picture out and see it, in some cases for the first time, as a unified whole, and use those varied experiences I've had and use a number of different products and strategies to bring that plan to life, to be able to accomplish what it was the client was looking to accomplish in that first step, which again is, how did we get here? We have this stuff, what do we do now? The process is unchanging, but the solutions are absolutely tailored to your unique needs. So really the next step is to engage us in that process. It's a no obligation, free review, and we go through all 4 of those steps. The goal is to help us understand again where you came from, but more importantly, where do you want to go? Since I was a young kid, I've played drums. At the age of 9 years old, I vividly remember being in this huge band room, and there were 20, I'm guessing, other drummers who were hitting practice pads and making a whole bunch of noise. And I remember thinking that they all know something that I don't. There's no way that I can compete with them. But over time, I began to add other drums and add other influences. And what happened was, one day I woke up, I looked around, and I realized that most of those other folks were not drumming anymore. And so drumming for me has been a wonderful journey of not only starting from a single idea, but becoming a musician and doing something that most people chose not to pursue. And what we do now is very similar to that. We take these components that may seem like single pieces and we bring them into this unified whole. And it's kind of like creating music, and I just absolutely love that part of it. There are a lot of choices out there, and there's a lot of advisors to choose from. We recognize that. But I would ask that you engage with us and go through the process. The 4-dimension review process will absolutely reveal things that you've never considered before in your planning. You'll learn things that you weren't aware of. We see it all the time. This is a pretty tumultuous time. There are a lot of different things that should cause concern. There are a lot of different risks that may seem to have come out of nowhere. But this is really an opportunity for you to take control of those areas of your planning that you truly can control. That's what our review process does. So I encourage you to give us a call. We'd love to meet with you. We won't pressure you. We won't try to sell you anything. This is truly an opportunity for you to see your planning in a whole new light and perhaps bring those pieces together in a way that you didn't think possible. That's what we do for our clients, and that's what we'd like to do for you.